pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will start off with public comments. Okay, you've raised your hand first. Go ahead.
Thanks, Roger. Mike Gaynor, 8 Cobbitts Lane. First of all, congratulations, Amber, on the supervisor. Job well done. Sorry it didn't work out. I just had 2 real quick questions. So the community is aware. I've been coming up here and making everybody aware about the comings and goings of what's going on with Sylvester Manor Educational Farm. Sylvester Manor has been operating an illegal business inside of the town since they incepted here back in 2009, so for approximately 15 years. They're finally going through the process of getting legalized. That process included them going to the ZBA and specifying what their uses were, and now they have to go up for site plan review. The Zoning Board of Appeals, Phil DiOrio, and crew over there authorized them to turn that place into a concert venue. The only concert venue of its type anywhere on the east end of Long Island. So they're going to be legally, this has already passed, that law has been passed. They can have the biggest concerts they want, so the community should be aware of what's going on, because the last step inside of this process is for the town board to approve their site plan for what's going to be going on in the property. And so my question is, can you please tell myself and the rest of the community when that site plan review process is going to start?
We haven't set that public hearing yet. As soon as we do, it will be announced. We'll set the public hearing, so sometime in December, but it won't happen until January.
It won't happen until January. Okay, so like the public, and that process will kick off with a public hearing, and it might be a series of public hearings necessarily to go through that process. Thank you very much. And then my second question I want to bring to the attention of the community, it's a pretty big deal. Gordon would know most about this. There's a parcel of property over on Cobbitts Lane where I live, directly across the street from where I live, 21 acres of property. And this has to do with the Community Preservation Fund. And I think it's representative of the type of errors that we see that happen, that flow out of that fund. There were 21 acres over there that were, 14 of them were sold off to a gentleman by the name of Alistair Tedford. When that parcel, so there are 3 parcels altogether, essentially 3 plus or minus 6 acre parcels over there. When that parcel was transacted, when the CPF deployed those monies, they purchased 2 of the properties. The other one was supposed to be a legal buildable lot. Something got screwed up and they were never subdivided. So that the error there was on the part of the town and the Community Preservation Fund. So now we deployed a bunch of money, went into Alistair's pocket, he's gone. Now he filed suit against the town. Now we're in a lawsuit with them. And the most recent filing with Suffolk County Supreme Court that I saw as of yesterday said that the town board today was going to vote on a settlement with him. And I was just curious what the nature of that settlement is. What are we going to do about that property? It's a massive parcel of property. As we all know, there's big houses going up all over the island. And I'm just kind of curious. That was supposed to be protected land. There's big CPF signs right there. You can drive down that street right now. It says the land's protected, which is not true. You can go there right now. They're literally, it's not. It's the land was subdivided incorrectly. The town screwed up, CPF screwed up. And I'm curious where we stand with that settlement agreement that the town's going through with him. Can you bring us up to speed on that?
We have a resolution to authorize myself to sign that settlement agreement, but we can't disclose the nature of it until after it's been authorized by this board and signed.
And when does that happen?
We have a resolution today to authorize the signature, and then when it's signed, then the settlement agreement can be released.
Okay, so I didn't see it inside of the. Would you mind telling me where it's at inside of the document? What's it referenced?
It's one of the resolutions just authorizing signature. The settlement agreement itself is not public because it's a negotiated document, and so we can't release it until we are done with the negotiations.
Does that seem like good practice? I understand the town has these legal arrangements all the time. Why wouldn't the community be allowed to know about these things? I mean, it's a big deal. It doesn't reflect positively on the CPF or the town board. This didn't fall from the sky. You guys created this. You made a mistake inside of this. Then we had to pay lawyers to go get us out of the mistake. And now there's going to be a settlement and the community doesn't get to know about that. And I just think that's a problem. Couldn't we just talk about that just briefly? I don't want to take up a bunch of your time. You can't, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So the votes, obviously the votes on these things are always set. You guys know how you're going to vote. It's always going to be aye, all the we're gonna go through and also.
Never know, we're not.
Never know, huh?
Never know.
Yeah, it's
Mystery of the ages.
all right, thanks so much, congratulations.
Anyone else for the public comment section? Anyone on Zoom? Just.
I don't see any
Okay,
hands.
I was gonna say, I don't know. Okay, all right. We have a couple of things going on today. We've got the work session agenda, and we also have a special meeting. And we have some time constraints today, so we must end by 3:15 today. So at 2:30, I'm going to stop whatever we're working on with the work session agenda and bump the rest of it to next week, just so that we can finish timely and get who needs to get out of here today. So just putting everyone on notice. The first item on the agenda is the Community Development Block Grant projects. And we had a public hearing back on September 29th, I believe it was. And I got that date right? Yes. In the Capital Planning and Grants Committee meeting this morning, we were looking at 3 different projects to participate. And can everybody hear me? Like with this mask, I know I don't project well to start with. So we were looking at 3 different projects. We were looking at police headquarters, the lower level, making some better handicap access down in the jail and bathroom section. We also were looking at an elevator to get to the lower level of Legion Hall. And then the last item on the list was the tot lot. And the PD headquarters, we've got a
Top lot?
tot lot.
Oh.
Yeah, the toddler playground.
Got it.
Sorry. So the police headquarters, since we've got a bigger ADA compliance access drawings going on there, we decided not to look at that for this round of community block development grant funding. We did talk about the Legion Hall elevator, and we decided that there's more work and investigation that needs to be done on that. Just because if we start to open up some of the structural elements of the building in order to put in some sort of elevator, we just want to make sure we've got a better handle on what the cost could be. And the last one was the tot lot, and there's been more work done on that because there is a community group out there that is hoping that we will do some upgrades to that. And we did have some pricing on that. And so the pricing on that, shockingly, is between $150,000 and $250,000 to do it right with the proper, flooring that needs to go in there to make it handicap accessible. It's a big amount of money, between $150,000 and $250,000. If we're going to up our ask for the community from Suffolk County to $105,000 towards the project. We also have our grants writer, so there are some playground New York State Parks Department grants that we could apply for, that we will look into to see if we can get supplemental funding. There's also a community group out there that is geared up to do some fundraising to pay for some of this. And
Local community?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, some of the parent and grandparent community members.
Okay.
It's also a scalable project, whereas if we don't get like the New York State Parks money, we could scale the project back down towards the $150,000 range and not do all of the equipment replacement. We could do, at a later date, more equipment could be put into service. So that was the recommendation of capital planning and grants this morning. We need to make a decision and pass a resolution by December 1st in order to apply for this money. So we do have a resolution that was a separately worded resolution in your packets, because the recommendation was only just made this morning, so it couldn't make it in. So it discussed this resolution that will come up later for vote is that we had the public hearing, that, citizens had an opportunity to weigh in, that we are going to ask for $105,000 towards the tot lot playground and $5,000 towards Cass Mobile Food Pantry. That the anticipated project cost is between 150 and 250,000, which will be scaled based upon other funding sources. And that the additional funding sources for the tot lot upgrades and repairs will be from the New York State Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation grants, community fundraising, and the town. So depending on where things land. The grant or the project description goes into the county for consideration December 1st. In the spring of 2026 is when the county will make its determination and figure out what how much they're going to grant us. And we are asking for more than we normally do, but the county often tells us you should ask for more. So we've been, over the years, starting to ask for more. Depending on what they award us, the contracts will get drafted around June, summer of 2026. The September 1st, 2026 would be when we can actually start work on the project. So it gives us the last part of 2026, so we can see where our funding is on other building repairs and things like that. If the town has any money in the existing budget, it looks like it's not going to be spent, or we can look towards any funding in the 2027 budget to finish up the project by August 1st of 2027. So that's the resolution before us. Any thoughts, just so we can decide whether or not we're going to work on this resolution or if we need to pivot? And I put it first on the agenda in case it needs to be rewritten before the special meeting.
No, I think this is a good use of it. The tot lot it's needed a lot of repairs lately. A lot of the equipment is failing. It's just, so I think this is a good use. I'd love to see the elevator at the Legion done, but I do know that it's going to be a bigger project than we think it is because of the amount of work that's going to have to be done and the structural integrity of the building. And with the PD ADA compliance project that we're already working on, it doesn't make sense to double down on that with the block grant. So I'm okay with this option.
I'm just a bit at a loss only because I don't know how much this lot's used. Like, I know that there's a lot of traffic at Legion Hall, but I don't, but I'm not saying it's a bad project.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I originally, when we started the discussion this morning, was leaning towards the Legion. But the tot lot does get a lot of use, especially in the summertime and on weekends when our population swells. If you go, during a Bucks game, you'll see like kids are playing there during high school softball games, baseball games. There's kids over there playing, as well as during the course of the day, you'll see preschool kids.
I mean, I do know it's a bit of a mess, but.
Yeah. I mean, Jim Colligan, a few years ago, we went and did like an audit of all the equipment and then, made safety corrections and things like that. But a lot of it needs to be replaced. It's just,
I don't have
lived its life.
I don't have any fundamental problems with this. No, but I was always thinking about this money going to Legion Hall for the elevator because it gets so much use.
Yeah.
Yes.
If this is, it's kind of like a use it or lose it situation.
If we don't apply for it, then we won't have the money. And we did, at one point, swap the monies so that we ended up using PD money for Goat Hill to make handicap accessibility there. So they allowed us to make that modification. There's always room for modification if need be, but.
No major objections.
I think this will give us the time to do the research necessary to make a better application for the Legion. And then we could probably apply to multiple places for money for the Legion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gordon, any thoughts?
Fine.
All right, so we'll put that on the specials at the very end. All right, the next item on the agenda is the 100 square foot exemption request for Cummins.
This is just for the corner of the second story deck that was approved by the ZBA.
Yes. And the building department shows that there's no work where they previously requested the 100 square foot exemption. and it's 35 square feet within the adjacent regulated area. With this request, they extinguish the full 100.
Okay. The planning board didn't weigh in at all, did it? No, no.
No, they don't weigh in on that, no.
Fine.
Okay. All right, so then that can be approved. Well, we're flying through the agenda. The next item on the agenda was establishing dock fees. This was something that we had on a prior town board work session, a couple of work sessions ago. And the reason for putting it back on is what we had decided was, per code 53-5D, $500 or $700 per slip per year, $350 or $500 per slip per year for an applicant who possesses a licensed permit to harvest or sell shellfish or fish for commercial purposes, and such fee may be prorated for Daring Harbor Town Dock and a Dickerson Creek Town Dock. And the only reason for putting this back on was just if board members wanted to rethink it, and also to see if there was anyone from the public who wanted to weigh in on this. So
So for recreational, it's what, 400 now?
I thought it was 250. Yeah.
You're making it worse, not better.
I assume that I'm flat-footed today between vacation and then getting sick.
And the 5 to 700 came from WMAC?
My brain is not functioning
Yeah,
fully today.
not in mine, so.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, that was part of their recommendation, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I mean, my hang up here, and I hate to be very unpopular position, but the market rate for those slips is closer to $3,000, maybe $4,000. And to subsidize it to the tune of $3,000 per slip, it just seems insane. But this is a recommendation we have in front of us. How free are we to play with the number or talk about the number?
It's up to us. Yeah.
No, Cockles Harbor Marina charges what, 4,500 per slip
Mhm.
per year?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of it also had to do with services.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
There are no
we have
services
no-
down
Yeah,
there.
we have no services.
They're not.
I do recall that much from the last time we discussed this.
I mean, my personal opinion is 500 is too low. 700 certainly is better, and 1,000 would be even better. But that's just my personal opinion.
And I think we got these numbers, if I recall. I sort of like took the CPI and kind of like prorated it since the last
Yeah.
time we looked at this. And I thought that's how we got here, or almost here.
But it probably didn't go up for 20 years.
Right. You know, I did the CPI for 20 years. Yeah, and which is not to say we can't revisit this next year.
I mean, we obviously can't charge anything close to market. That's not gonna work. But everyone should feel a little pain in the situation. If these are our choices, I'd say 700. If we can scratch that out and write in 1,000, I'd be okay with that.
How does everyone else feel?
Just trying to find the actual
I know, I'm trying to find the application too.
Yeah.
schedule. There's not an issue.
The number of docks again, 30,
Well, how many?
Yeah,
are down there?
yeah.
Can't remember off the top of my head.
There's 2 slips at Deering
I
Harbor.
want to say 36 at Condon Creek.
Yeah, 36, that's what that's right.
Almost approaching 40.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say 37, so 36 or 37. 2 at Deering Harbor, and then Silver Beach.
Oh, Deering Harbor is where the fireboat is.
No,
No?
that's on its own dock. It's where, it's next to Cozy's.
Okay. Oh, got it.
Yeah, when you come down the hill,
Mhm.
straight up. And I can't remember Silver Beach. Where did Meg go? Okay.
Get a number from Amber.
Okay. It's the same guy.
Silver Beach was lower, it was a lower rate there.
Mm,
We're trying to combine them both together.
Yeah, yeah, we're trying to, yeah, I think normalize all of them.
When was the last time the docks were repaired or replaced?
The Condon Beach dock was done,
Bulkhead was done last year.
the bulkhead was done, but the dock itself was, I think, like 8 years ago? 7 or 8 years ago.
I mean, it's not supposed to be a money producer, but it should really cover its cost of operation. So the question is $18,000 a year, if that covering replacement of docks when the time comes?
Yeah, and we're going to be moving those funds specifically into the waterways with this budget. We're gonna make sure that that money gets set aside and not used for general fund purposes.
Okay, so we're all tired because the current fee is 500, it's gonna go to 700, the current fee is 350 for commercial, and it's
Oh.
gonna go to 500. That's what we have written there. So I just confirmed it with Rob.
Oh, okay.
So the current fee is the first number, our proposal is the second
All
number.
right, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like, we're all
Even better.
tired.
Mhm.
I mean, for the commercial fishermen, I don't have a problem with what's here.
Mhm.
350 to 500 is fine. It's the recreational one that's bothering me. I would, instead of 7, I'd do 1,000.
Anyone else?
I missed what you guys were saying before.
Oh, just,
So just about it should cover its costs, and
mhm.
$500 for what, 36 at Coventry probably doesn't cover
The cost of maintenance
the
for the
cost of
dock.
maintenance, yeah. The public subsidy is a little nuts, but
Yeah.
if we can chip away at it over the
Uh-huh.
next 15 years, that'll be nice.
All right. I'm fine with that. This money will go into the waterways fund.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be,
So it's 1,000?
Mhm.
and then 500 for the commercial fishermen.
And maybe now the wait
Yeah.
list will shorten.
Mm.
Because for $1,000, I'll pick a slip.
Yeah,
We really don't have that many commercials, so, I would be partial to even leaving it alone.
I would leave it alone for the
Oh, yeah,
commercial, yeah.
no, I have no problem with what's,
Yeah.
being leave it alone at 350.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
Oh,
really,
keep it at 350.
sorry,
You're saying keep it at 350 or keep it at 500?
350.
I mean, I'd be okay with
Okay,
that.
yeah, that's a fair
I
offset.
mean, not that many, and I think it's,
Yeah,
I don't care.
I think there's 6.
okay,
I think that's fine.
all right.
They're probably suggesting they raise it because one of the commercial fishermen is on the waterways. But
True. Yes.
Okay.
Any public comment? Come on up.
Just to reflect, John Tillman, former town engineer, just to reflect on Ben's point, I think he's got a really good point there about the $1,000. And just to put it in context, I own 2 boats and I keep one of them in Safe Harbor in Greenport. It fits in what they call a 30-foot slip. So either one of the boats that I have could fit into that slip. That slip next summer is $8,400. So that puts it in context in terms of the bargain that anybody with a recreational boat kept at Condon's is getting.
Thank you. Anyone else in the physical audience? Anyone on Zoom? Okay. All right, we will put that on for December 1st adoption. Site plan review application, GR Gardens LLC. Thomas, you were going to address two of the items that we had open on this.
Right, yeah, so this is a reminder, the board voted to close the record on September 29th. The board voted to leave the record open until October 20th for correspondence from the health department. I talked to the town engineer, he reached out to the health department. The response was that they do not provide any written correspondence unless there's an application made. He already put in the record an email dated July 29th that he had spoken to the health department and that there was nothing for this particular project. There was no trigger for the health department to review. So, so basically the record closed on October 20th with nothing further from the health department. And I think based on what the town engineer has already put in the record, the board, should feel comfortable moving forward without any further input from the health department.
So you said they don't supply written correspondence unless there's an application. So the question is an application required?
Right, and I think, Joe, the town engineer's perspective, at least from having a verbal conversation with them, is that there's no need for it. My understanding from having worked with the health department before is that that's not triggered by this project.
Okay.
The other legal aspect is just to remind the board, there was a question about the zoning district, because the zoning district is measured from, 250 feet down from the street. Well, the question was whether it's measured from the center line or from the side of the street or the property line. There's a letter from the building inspector in the file. I don't believe he dated it, but it's file as of September 26th that stated that he recommend, his view, and he's charged with interpreting the zoning code, that the zoning district B businesses district is measured from the side of Menantic Road. And so looking at that, I believe all of the subject property, except for a very small piece of it, is considered B business zone. So those were just two legal issues that had come up in this application that, just to get clarity, before you start getting into the discussion.
Okay. So basically it's B zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how much is in A? 100 square feet?
I think so. I think
It's not even in A, it's in C,
Oh,
so it's,
It's the measurement from the middle of the road or the measurement from the side of the road?
well, that was the question.
Right.
And I think Reed's letter said that it was from the side of the road.
we're talking 100 square feet maybe in C?
yeah, it's not significant.
So Thomas, the health department, they're not concerned about the septics on this property?
Not for this project, no.
When you say this project, we're talking about the total site that we have.
Yeah.
We have we have a two-family house, we have a retail space, and then we have a garden center. So no one is concerned about where, as I recall, the septics were really, one of them were in the parking lot of the adjacent property owner Leon's. So nobody's concerned about that?
I think we have to, the
I mean,
board has to,
are they aware of that?
I'm not sure, but the board is evaluating this project, and for this particular project, there's no trigger from the health department. There's no review.
Okay.
It's bizarre.
Well, the health department doesn't, they're only gonna pick something up if the new action on the property triggers a review for them. If there's an increase in the building square footage, if there's like a change of use to a more intensive use, like from a bank to a restaurant, then of course they're gonna get involved, things like that, but in this situation, it doesn't seem to have a trigger.
Going from whatever commercial activity was there before, was it just
Retail to
cornucopia
retail, yeah,
to garden center, which is retail to retail?
yeah, so they don't need to look at it. In their mind, it's not really a significant change.
And the issue of septic not even being located on the property was either dealt with or ignored the last time.
Right.
Right.
So if they were to change anything in the main house, or if they were to add to the building in some way, do some kind of building modification that could trigger health department, but they're not doing anything like that, so it doesn't trigger anything.
How many more days on this?
The record closed as of October 20th. The board, I believe, has to take action the December 1st meeting.
That's the first.
Yeah.
What we're doing here today.
We're going to go through the standards of review
Mhm.
to see if we're going to, if it meets site plan review and what kind of restrictions we would want to put on
We'll
it.
put it on the first.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have to give Thomas what to put into the resolution.
The application that was filed has a different company name. Does that play any role here at all?
That's a Thomas question.
I mean, the original application was under Grady Riley Gardens LLC, but that company didn't exist.
Okay, so it's, what is GR Gardens LLC?
I don't know when the change was, and I don't know when it was put to the zoning board. We put this to the zoning board. Did they have this as Grady Riley LLC, or did they have it as GR Garden LLC?
Put in zoning board.
Yeah, no, this didn't,
And like, when did this change? How did this change?
well, this, I don't think this went to, this is just.
It didn't go to zoning board. Yeah, it's just site plan
Just site
review.
plan review.
Yeah.
I mean, the name, like, I don't, the approval spot goes with the property. It doesn't really go with the individual name.
The applicant,
Yeah, I mean, you can, for example, an applicant can typically get an approval and then sell the property, and the approval continues with the new owner. So I don't think there's any, issue with the name changing and the pendency of the application. I mean, there's no, I don't think there's any, issue with, I know this is a lease, like Grady Riley Gardens or GR Gardens or whatever, doesn't own the property, but I don't believe there's any issue as far as the owner not consenting to what is proposed.
so this application is coming from the owner of the property, or it's coming from the leasee?
Well, I believe,
Because I've never seen a lease.
It just said property owner 27 West Neck LLC, the applicant, if not the owner, is GR Gardens LLC.
Right, so it's the owner of the property in coordination with Grady Riley Gardens, GR Gardens LLC. Like a joint application for both of them. And we've had both the owner of the property and the business come to all the public hearings, so I think they're both informed as to what's going on. Should we go through?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Standards of review.
Okay, standard, the first one would be traffic. All proposed traffic access ways are adequate number, width, grade, alignment, and visibility.
The memo we got said that access was sufficient.
Yeah, I was gonna say Joe and the building department can weigh in on that.
And, so, say yes.
Interior circulation and parking. If there's adequate off-street parking, handicap parking, and loading spaces.
Maybe no.
I was gonna say the loading space, it seems to be,
Handicap parking.
Well, I think there's enough, it's kind of open parking. I think there was enough parking for that.
Don't you come in and turn around and for emergency vehicles or?
Yeah, it was in the letter from, let's see. I mean, we can specify a location for the handicap parking spot.
Which we should do
I think,
anyway.
yeah, I think we should do that. Thomas specify a location for. And I think there should be two. I think one near the building entrance, the front of the building, and
And one by the.
one by
side.
the side.
The fire department doesn't require any room for trucks to go in and out or.
They only get brought in for subdivisions.
So there's 11 designated parking spaces. So we can make one of them, and there's an ADA ramp in the back. So you can put the two on the side right by. If you do these two as ADA, then this is the easy access and it's easy to get to the flowers. So I would say the southernmost parking spots on the property line adjacent to Leon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those two should be
Because the
ADA,
ADA ramp is going.
because then
in
the
back.
ramp is on the back of the building, and so that would be easiest access.
Landscaping and screening is the next one. And there definitely needs to be screening.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't know how effective that's gonna be because of the change in elevation between the neighboring property. The neighboring property is significantly higher in elevation. So, not sure how to fix that.
I think there needs to be tall screening. And it is a landscaping business. You can make it work.
Yeah, I was kind of asking about the wrong one, but the neighbor says that it's so high, but maybe, why don't you put the screening on the neighbor's property?
Say no, that's not fair.
Yeah, no, it has to be on the.
Mhm.
I agree, I think there needs to be screening.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be easy, but
Yeah, I mean, there's the fencing. I don't know how high that fencing is.
Yeah, that's just
Looks
around
like around the.
it's probably 6 foot.
Mhm.
These are old because it doesn't look like that anymore, but.
But still.
I mean, even if you just put a row of trees here, you'd see trees instead of the fence. Like between the white picket fence and between, like, if you put it on the property line.
where's the property line?
So-
That again.
Can I ask you a question?
Unfortunately, the public hearing's closed. Right, in the plans that were submitted to us, we've got bagged material pallets along the fence line. I think, yeah, they need to get, like, that has to come off. And I think, 10-foot high screening. Or suggest 10-foot high screening that's evergreen.
Okay. Better than nothing.
It would be for the length of the back property line. For the back 70 feet, it's like,
Yeah, I'm just looking at,
from like here to there.
Yeah.
I'm also just looking at the pictures too.
It's about 70 feet.
Yeah.
76.
0.08. So what's that 0.08 that gets you?
I was rounding. Do a return,
Yeah.
like down. $20.
When you say turn the corner, do you want to turn the corner to the west or the east?
To the east.
Yeah, so it goes along this back line here and then 20 feet, just so that the angle down, there's screening on that side as well.
I mean, you really
Yeah.
only have to go as far as the neighboring building, like you don't have to go
Yes.
much past that, so.
I know, I'm trying to measure. Oh, you got it.
I have it on GIS.
Oh, good.
So let me see. It's like 15 feet. Yeah, I'm going to like the edge of this building here, because you
Yeah,
can't see.
but I'm
past
just,
that.
well, I'm just thinking, because you can see in a little, I'd say 20 feet.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you're coming at it, you're looking at it from an angle from the swimming pool.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's on which side? Side?
East, yeah.
So this, from starting from the southwest.
Southeast corner?
southeast corner.
and down the east side.
Starting in the southeast corner, following the property line in an easterly direction.
Yes.
And turning north 20 feet.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes. Next is existing development.
Consistent. There's no change to the buildings.
Right. I'm just looking back at the planning board memo because they were tasked with that.
Yeah, they say it's consistent with existing conditions.
Okay, yeah. Natural features and environmental concerns.
They did not find any negative impacts.
Yeah, that's
Any
the
other
word
natural
for it.
features.
And I'll just go back to
Features.
CAC's memo. Because they were to weigh in on this one as well. Theirs was easy.
Yeah.
She said, approve as is.
Unanimously
Okay.
approve as is, so that one's done.
Cultural features.
Both said.
Yeah.
Features.
It's usually archaeological, like if there's any remains and things like that. There's
Not here.
no soil disturbance, yeah. Lighting. All outdoor lighting, we should just, we put that in all,
Standard, yeah.
yeah, we should put in our
Yeah.
standard language for, site plan review, Thomas.
Okay.
Dark skies,
Dark
that it's dark
skies.
skies
Yeah,
compliant.
dark skies compliant. Timed lighting,
You skipped pavement?
that was, not applicable.
Okay, yeah.
Drainage was deemed to not be applicable. Public utilities,
We don't want to, is there an opportunity to improve runoff control? I don't know.
I don't think
Or
there.
nobody's worried about it.
There's no,
yeah,
there's
say,
no runoff issues, like they're not doing anything to change the grading or the.
Okay.
Yeah. When there have been no noted issues with it throughout the application process.
yeah, when Reed assigned this at the pre-conference, it was deemed, he didn't see any drainage issues.
Okay.
Public utilities, the water supply and sewage disposal is adequate. That was.
Part of West Neck, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah. Public address or sound system was not applicable. Handicap access, we're designating 2 parking spaces. Energy conservation, yeah, I was gonna say, that was building department to look at. Size, the size of the subject parcel, that was planning board.
They said that there are no additional water demands or hazards to human life, but let's see, outdoor area has been reduced in square footage compared to the size of the business previously operating at 80 Manantec. It says fire department vehicles could maneuver in the area.
Yeah.
They don't really.
Yeah, they also didn't like the pallets going right up to the rear property line. But we're gonna ask that they not be placed there.
I think that they've been moved since this application started too. I don't think they're there anymore. But we can definitely put in the resolution.
Yeah. Just because it's on the site plan, so we want to make sure that they don't revert back to that.
Yep. Well, they won't be able to put them there anyway if we're putting plantings. Even stuff. I agree.
Any other stipulations? I do have a note from the public hearing on September 8th, that we could put into the resolution having the septic pumped out.
Access.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it doesn't really,
There's no. It's nice.
if I have the other notes.
A lot of stuff going on a small parcel. That's all I can say. A lot of stuff. And the fire department has no issue with that getting in there, turning around, and getting out. You're saying it's not really a criteria.
No, not something that gets sent
To
to
get
them,
involved.
but we do have the planning board memo that says a member of the Shelter Island Volunteer Fire Department offered his opinion that based on dimensions and arrangement, emergency vehicles would be able to successfully maneuver, park and exit.
But we don't have an official from the fire department. We don't have an official document from the fire department.
It's not something that we've ever requested.
I get it.
Mhm. Yeah,
Doesn't mean we couldn't require it.
yes, but at this point, we closed the public hearing, so
Did Reed put it in his memo? I'm not sure.
did he put it in? Yeah, I mean, that's something, like right now, all we do is have the fire department weigh in on subdivisions. So we could change our procedures.
We are concerned about safety.
Mhm.
Okay, so even though it may not be there, it's not like, it's a very tight space. I mean, it's hard, and when you look at it, you got 3 operations going on less than a half an acre of land. Okay, so we're not concerned about the septics, we're not concerned about, I have a problem with this application. I guess that's what it boils down to. You got too much going on in a small space. And then you're opening up onto the road in a crossway, a 4-way stop area there where we have lots of traffic. That's a one-way in and out driveway.
If you were going to incorporate any of that into stipulations or restrictions, what would you say?
I think when you were talking about traffic on the road going in, it really allows for one vehicle at a time. So what happens when somebody's coming in or someone has to back out? How are you going to do that?
Well, I mean, okay, so it hasn't,
How do you stipulate that? I mean, is there space to make it?
Well, when you only have 2 tenants there, you have only a residential property and you have a store, okay, it's not, when you have other businesses, you got 3 businesses going on a small parcel.
well, and next door, they have 2 businesses. So, I mean, these businesses have been functioning like this
Got
for
it.
the last 50 years, and it hasn't been a problem. So if them being here had become a problem, I think we probably would have heard about it in the last 6 months that we've been doing this, or all this application, open. Longer than that, yeah. So, I mean,
Yeah, we're either going to approve or deny. So if we approve, if there's something we can put in as a restriction, or we deny. So,
I mean, it's an opportunity
Those are our
to
choices.
improve things.
yeah, and that's why I'm saying, what could we put into as a stipulation?
I don't see how you can stipulate one person entering or leaving at a time. It's a
Right.
common sense driving action, so.
Yeah, I'm looking at the space. Yeah. Anything else?
Deliveries are made there. What size truck makes a delivery there?
It depends on what's being delivered.
Right.
But deliveries happen all over the island on the shoulder of the road. I mean, RBS pulls up all the time in front of someone's house and unloads. I mean, people are allowed to use the shoulder.
Well, right now, you don't have that issue. Because there are no real deliveries being to that location right now, for the most part.
No.
So we're really adding.
They said they
delivery.
get one big delivery a season, that's it.
I don't know.
Does it make
Was
sense
said.
to restrict the time, like Monday through Friday, 9 to 5? Can't the trucks double parked on the sidewalk?
I don't know if you can control when the delivery guy shows up. You know, it depends on their schedule. I mean, I usually get a delivery window of sometime Thursday,
Well, you just
you
get
know?
the morning or the afternoon.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it is an issue all over the island. I've, gone, and seen delivery trucks outside the pharmacy, delivery trucks outside of the solar blocking
Oh.
the road.
Maria, I felt.
yeah,
blocked
I
the
mean, it's
bridge.
everywhere, because
Yeah.
there's no
Mhm.
real shoulder to use, so.
Mhm.
And at least they're short, you know, they
Yeah.
unload and leave. It's not like landscape trucks that are all over the place all the time. It's, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Doesn't help them
just
linger.
the way, yeah.
Right.
What does it? I guess what's our fiduciary duty? Is it to kind of restrict deliveries to daytime, like working hours? Does that
Well,
help?
I mean, I think most
Does not help?
deliveries are gonna show up during daytime working hours, because that's when they're working, right? Like when the delivery companies are working.
Well, we don't know,
I
but
mean, you
does it
get,
hurt to put it in here and say
I
something?
don't think it's enforceable or realistic. That's the thing. Like, if we're gonna put a condition in the resolution, it needs to be enforceable in some fashion, or at least attainable by the applicant. I don't know that it's necessary to control when deliveries show up, because I don't know how much control we have over it. That's like saying Amazon's only allowed to deliver to your house Monday and Wednesday from 10 to 2.
Oh, well, we're not trying to control when deliveries are, we're just trying to control them into a normal window.
Right, but then you have to do that for everybody. I mean, there's deliveries all over the island. I don't know how you control. I mean, you can always request a time, but it doesn't mean that the delivery guy's gonna follow your request.
Well, you don't want deliveries at 10 o'clock at night and have some big truck blocking.
But I don't think it's realistic to assume you're gonna get a delivery at 10 o'clock at night for this type of business.
I don't know, I don't run it, but.
Well, I'm also wondering, like, would a 7 AM delivery before, business hours start be a better delivery time than during the day when you've got cars coming and
That's
going?
true.
Yeah.
That'll be more helpful. If we're trying, I'm just saying if there's anything to improve here.
Mhm.
So, I'm not sure there is.
Yeah, I mean, that's what, yeah, I just don't know how you can make an effective request in a resolution that would improve that situation.
What's the next criteria?
That's it, that was everything. Well, I guess you got the criteria, and we'll take a vote on December 1st.
And we'll get it a couple days in advance and look
Yeah.
through it. and-
I'll send you my notes.
Yes, yeah. Okay, and it is 2:05. Board member reports.
About 6, so.
These might be short. It was away.
I can tell you what I watched on TV.
All right, we have some jobs available. Part-time home maintenance repair/repair mechanic. This is for the county program for seniors. We have account clerk. With Shelby's election, we have a spot opening up in the supervisor's office for the accounting clerk. So that job is posted on the website, just like part-time home maintenance. And we are also looking for, with the election of a new town board member, we have someone exiting the community housing board, and so we need a community housing board member wanted.
Two
Two.
housing
Oh,
board
two,
members,
yeah.
yeah.
And I know we definitely would like somebody with some finance background if possible,
And building background.
and
if
building
possible.
background. So, we have those 3 openings. That's all I got.
There was very little last week.
Yes, so it was a quiet week.
Yeah. We have nothing. Nothing to add.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, then we will adjourn the work session and open a special meeting. There's a waiver of notice to sign. Before we go into the special meeting, I just want to note that the following public hearings, because we did not have an in-person quorum on whatever, last Monday, whatever that date was, the 10th. We were not able to hold the town board meeting, which is why we have a special meeting right now. And the following public hearings are adjourned till December 1st, which is Chad Pike, 6 Bluff Avenue, dock application. XB Property LLC, Harry and Kathy Titonis at 2 Charlie's Lane dock application. Sun is Shining LLC, Gasper Vitale, 32 South Midway Road dock application. Gordon Thompson, 8C Pheasants Lane dock application, and Courtney O'Sullivan, 74 Peconic Avenue wetlands application. If there were other public hearings that were postponed, I think particularly wetlands, they need to be renoticed, and so we will reset public hearings as needed for future dates. Except for resolutions that were subject to public hearings, are there any questions from the public on any of the resolutions? Okay. Have people had a problem hearing me? I'm just thinking in terms of sharing the reading of the resolutions.
I'm sitting right next to you, so now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not asking you guys, I'm kind of looking at the audience.
You're good?
Okay,
We're good. Okay.
okay, yeah, and I don't know if people on Zoom are having any problems.
Haven't gotten
Give me
any
a-
text complaints, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know,
Good.
angry faces is a choice on Zoom. Okay, so Meg, if you would start us off then.
Whereas pursuant to Section 108 of the town law, a public hearing was duly held on the 6th day of November 2025 on the preliminary budget for 2026, at which time all interested persons had an opportunity to speak in favor of or in opposition to any and all items therein contained. And whereas this budget has been available for inspection by any interested persons at all reasonable hours, and whereas the town board has revised the preliminary budget, now therefore be it resolved that the preliminary budget as amended is hereby adopted and declared to be the annual budget for the year of 2026. So moved.
Second, and I have discussion. Just for the public, we started off with the supervisor's tentative budget at 2.2%. And then when we got better retirement, health insurance, and Medicare stipend reimbursements, we ended up adding $168,000 to the budget. So we increased the budget 1.3%. So my 2.2% went to 3.5% had we had good numbers. Salary changes and department restoration asks added another $30,000 to the budget. The town board, then we made some revenue adjustments, $43,000, so that took it down 0.3%. The town board asked for final cuts from various departments, and that was a $65,000 decrease, so that took the budget down 0.5%. And then the town board requested an additional fund balance pull of another $49,000 in addition to the $415,000 that I had recommended. So that saved another 0.4%. So that's how we got down to the 2% budget. So just to sort of give us a broad overview summary for the public. So all in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Shelter Island hereby calls for a public hearing to be held on Monday, December 22nd at 6:04 p.m. prevailing time for the purpose of utilizing water quality improvement funds of $25,000 for the cost associated with the water testing sponsored by the Water Advisory Board. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
This one's great as well. We're gonna do it.
And start with the very beginning part and then jump to the end, the resolves.
Whereas, Lynn Sims Revocable Trust, 31 Peconic Avenue, has petitioned the town of Shelter Island for a wetlands permit to legalize the partial demolition and reconstruction of an existing one-story, single-family dwelling atop the existing foundation located 72.1 feet from the wetlands to demolish 492 square feet of northeasterly deck located 59.4 feet from the wetlands to demolish a 612 square foot southerly deck located 75.2 feet from the wetlands to demolish an existing 68 square foot southerly shed located 89.9 feet from the wetlands to demolish an existing chimney located 84.5 feet from the wetlands to demolish 3 decks adjacent to the northwesterly shed totaling 214 square feet located at their closest point 48.9 feet from the wetlands to construct a new 416 square foot southerly deck located 75.2 feet from the wetlands to construct a 146 square foot covered entry located on the landward side of the dwelling greater than 75 feet from the wetlands to abandon the existing sanitary system by pumping the system clean, followed by removal of the system and backfilling the remaining excavated area with clean, compatible sand in accordance with Suffolk County Department of Health requirements, located 39.4 feet from the wetlands, to install a new innovative alternative on-site wastewater treatment system consisting of 1 treatment tank and 5 leaching galleys in accordance with Suffolk County Department of Health Services requirements, located greater than 100 feet from the wetlands to construct a new pervious driveway located landward of wetlands and to establish a naturally vegetated wetlands non-disturbance non-fertilization buffer, Town of Shelter Island, Suffolk County, New York. Jump down to resolve. Resolved that the Town of Shelter Island further finds that there are no practical alternatives which allow the project to be constructed outside the regulated area, and the applicant has submitted information to determine alternative site locations and configuration sufficient for a determination that the proposed work and location would have a less adverse environmental impact than any other practical alternative, and the applicant will voluntarily implement within 3 months if the issuance of, within 3 months of the issuance of the permit, adequate mitigation measures that will contribute to the protection and enhancement of the wetlands and wetlands benefits. Resolved that the Town of Shelter, that the town board hereby approves the issuance of a wetlands permit for the proposed demolition, abandonment, construction, modifications, removal, and installation at 31 Peconic Avenue in accordance with the proposed site plan prepared by Tri-State Planning, Engineering, and Land Surveying, PC, dated January 2020, last revised July 24, 2025. More revisions prepared by Matt Sherman, blah, blah, blah. Under the following conditions, removal of the existing 142 square foot shed and 419 square feet of decking located on the northern end of the subject property and submission of a revised plans showing the same. Amendment of the applicant's New York State Department of Environmental Conservation approval dated December 13, 2021, to include the removal of the shed and decking referenced in condition number 1. Page. The applicant shall submit a plan, 3, the applicant shall submit a plan for a 50-foot native vegetative buffer, and upon approval by the town, implement the same prior to the final wetlands inspection. The buffer shall be restored in a manner consistent with the variable assemblage of characteristic native species and gradients found in naturally occurring coastal ecological communities. 4, leaders and gutters shall be installed directing roof runoff into subsurface dry wells or other approved drainage structures to minimize stormwater runoff. 5, any work or disturbance and storage of construction materials shall be confined to the limit of clearing or ground disturbance shown on the approved plans. 6, prior to the commencement of any construction activities, a continuous line of trenched in wire back silt screen shall be staked as necessary to prevent runoff from the property. The screen shall be maintained, repaired, and replaced as often as necessary to ensure proper function until all disturbed areas are permanently vegetated. Sediments trapped by the screen shall be removed away from the screen to an approved upland location before the screen is removed. The wire-backed silt fence shall be a minimum of 14 gauge wire with a 6-inch mesh spacing. The 36-inch post shall be driven a minimum of 16 inches into the ground and set no more than 10 feet apart. Silt fencing shall be recessed by trenching 6 inches into the ground. 7, all areas of soil disturbance resulting from project shall be revegetated and mulched immediately upon completion of the project within 2 days of final grading or by the expiration date of the wetland permit, whichever is first. If revegetation is impractical due to time of year, temporary mulch shall be applied, and final revegetation performed as soon as weather conditions favor germination and growth. 8, the town board and/or its designee reserves the right to require additional native revegetation and/or other restoration measures in the event that upon final inspection, a finding is made that the goals of establishing a contiguous healthy cover of native or natural vegetation within the designated revegetation area have not been achieved. 9, a final wetland inspection shall be applied for and obtained upon completion of all permitted activities in the event that the town or its designee determines that the property is not in compliance with all of the terms and conditions of this permit, the applicant shall submit additional applications for a final wetlands inspection. 10, 2 copies of a final as-built survey shall be submitted with the required final wetlands inspection. So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
whereas the town board of Shelter Island has reviewed the application of the proposed pump station and cistern at 12 Dinah Rock Road in the town of Shelter Island, New York, and whereas the proposed action includes the installation of a 116,000 gallon underground concrete cistern equipped with a float switch for irrigation water, the construction of a one-story, 416 square foot pump house, demolition of the existing pump house of similar size, and new landscaping, berm, and plantings. Specifically, the proposed plan includes a berm 80 feet in length, 3.5 feet high, with grass and 24-foot-6 high skip laurel shrub. Supplemental ornaments to be planted around the north, south, and west sides of the proposed pump house. The supplemental plantings include 30 Northberry shrubs, 16 sweet olive shrubs, and 10 flowering dogwood Cloud 9 trees. The existing pump house would be demolished once the new pump house is constructed and operating properly. Regarding the stormwater runoff, the applicant proposes to rely upon infiltration to maintain the lawn areas for the roof runoff associated with the new pump house. And whereas the applicant currently maintains a New York State Department of Environmental Conservation permit for the pumpage of 6 million gallons of irrigation supply per year, the proposed action does not include any modification to the permitted irrigation volume. The purpose of the proposed action is to improve efficiency of the existing irrigation system and to allow for additional storage of irrigation water in order to deliver water over a shorter watering time to minimize plant disease and to improve the plant health. Whereas pursuant to 6 NYCRR 617.4, 6 NYCRR 617.5, and 6012-12B of the Town of Shelter Island Town Code, the town board reviewed the proposed action and has preliminarily determined that the same is an unlisted action. And whereas the town board has determined that it is the only involved agency, and now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby designates itself as the lead agency pursuant to implementing regulations of the State Environmental Quality Review Act, specifically 6 NYCRR 617.6 B1, with respect to the above described proposed action. So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Whereas the town board of the town of Shelter Island has reviewed the application for the proposed pump station and cistern at 12 Diamond Rock Road in the town of Shelter Island, New York, the proposed action, and whereas the proposed action includes the installation of a 116,300 gallon underground concrete cistern equipped with float switch for the irrigation water, the construction of a one-story 416 plus or minus square foot pump house, demolition of the existing pump house of similar size, a new landscape berm and planting. Specifically, the proposed plan includes a berm of 80-foot length, 3.5-foot height with fescue grasses and 24 to 6-foot high skip laurel shrubs and supplemental ornamentals to be planted around the north, south, and west areas of the proposed pump house. The supplemental plantings include 30 northern bayberry shrubs, 16 sweet olive shrubs, 10 flowering dogwoods, cloud 9 trees, and the existing pump house would be demolished and the new pump house would be constructed and operating properly. Regarding stormwater runoff generation, the applicant proposes to rely upon infiltration to the maintained lawn areas for the roof runoff associated with the new pump house. And whereas the applicant currently maintains the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation permit with a pumpage of 6 million gallons of irrigation supply per year, and the proposed action does not include any modification to the permitted irrigation volume, the purpose of the proposed action is to improve the efficiency of the existing irrigation system and to allow for storage of irrigation water in order to deliver water over a shorter watering time to minimize plant disease and to improve plant health. And whereas the town board declared itself lead agency for the proposed action pursuant to the implementing regulations of the State Environmental Quality Review Act, specifically 6 NYCRR 617.6B1, and whereas the town board as lead agency has cause to be prepared parts 2 and 3 of the short environmental assessment form with a supplemental analysis as prepared by PW Grosser Consultants, engineer and hydrologist DPC. And whereas the town board has reviewed the aforesaid SEAF supplemental analysis letter of no impact from the New York State Office of Parks and Recreation and Historic Preservation and other relevant information, reports, plans, and assessment, and agrees with the contents therein. Now therefore be resolved that the town board as lead agency for the action completed herein after review of the proposed action and 6 NYCRR Part 617 hereby determines that the above described project is an unlisted action, and be it further resolved that based upon the information contained in the SEAF and other relevant information, the town board as lead agency for the action contemplated herein and after due deliberation, review, and analysis hereby determines that the proposed action will not result in significant adverse impacts on the environment and hereby adopts the annexed negative declaration. Attached is the negative declaration document, which is, I want to say, 5 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages, 7.5 pages long. It is posted on the town website for your review. So moved. Second. All in favor? Aye. Any nays? Motion carried. Whereas an application for site plan approval was submitted by Gardner State Country Club, the applicant, on November 15, 2024, to make certain improvements to the existing facilities. Whereas the project is located at 12 Diamond Rock Road, Suffolk County Tax Map 0700-3-2-32.1, 701-1-1-19, and 701-1-3-23, Shelter Island, a 156-acre property located within a residential AA zoning district. Whereas the proposed action includes the installation of a 116,300-gallon underground concrete cistern equipped with a float switch for irrigation water, the construction of a one-story 416 plus or minus square foot pump house, demolition of the existing pump house of similar size, and new landscape berm and other plantings. Whereas the existing pump house would be demolished once the new pump house is constructed and operating properly, whereas the applicant proposes to rely upon infiltration to the maintained lawn areas for the stormwater roof runoff associated with the new pump house, and whereas the project was deemed as an unlisted action for State Environmental Quality Review Act purposes, whereas on October 10th, 2025, the town board as lead agency after review of the EAF parts 2 and 3 and analysis from PW Grosser Consulting Inc., the town's consultant, determined that the proposed action will not result in significant adverse impacts to the environment and adopted a negative declaration. Whereas the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation deemed that the project would not impact any properties listed in or eligible for the New York State and National Registers of Historic Places. Whereas the subject application was referred to the Building Department, the Conservation Advisory Council, the Water Advisory Committee, the Planning Board, and Hampton's Environmental Land Planning, the town's environmental consultant, and reports therefrom were issued and taken under consideration. Whereas on January 27th, February 24th, March 17th, April 7th, June 30th, September 8th, and September 29th, 2025, there were public hearings held on the subject application where public comments were received and taken under consideration. Whereas the town board has reviewed said application with regard to the standards of review enumerated in Town Code Section 109-3, and now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby adopts the subject site plan for the Gardeners Bay Country Club to make certain improvements to the existing golf club located at 12 Dinah Rock Road, same Suffolk County tax map numbers, as shown on the cistern water storage site plan prepared by DB Bennett Engineering, last revised January 14, 2025, the cistern water storage tank plans prepared by Roger Thomas Haig, PE, dated September 10th, 2024, and the Gardeners Bay Country Club pump station planting plan submitted March 17, 2025, subject to the following conditions. 1, applicant must not expand the existing irrigation system as shown in the submission of the stamped as-built survey prepared by Heidecker Land Surveying dated October 15, 2025, without obtaining prior approvals from the town. 2, soundproofing of pump house so as the noise at the exterior, the pump house is not to exceed the limits of 50 decibel levels. 3, no wetting agents or pesticides shall be added to the cistern. 4, applicant shall install a dry well to capture runoff from the pump house. 5, applicant must provide 60 days prior written notice to the town board prior to the submission of any application to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation to expand its allowable well draw in excess of the current limit of 6 million gallons per year. 6, applicant must maintain 3 feet of freeboard inside the cistern. And 7, applicant must submit annual New York State Department DEC reports regarding on-site wells to the town engineer. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion just on one item, okay, I just want to clarify this, okay? It has to deal, item number 3, which is no wetting agents or pesticides shall be added to the cistern. I don't know what we're implying, that we're not going to add pesticides to the 116,000 gallons, or are we talking about it, no pesticides or no pesticides will be added at that pump house? I don't know how the pesticides are added into this. I know what they are and I know what we're trying to accomplish, but I don't think it's, I guess I'm just concerned about the language, okay, that we're saying no, there'll be no agents or pesticides should be added to the cistern. So we're not talking about dumping anything in. It can be added in as we're pumping fresh water. That we on that same page?
Yeah, you can't be added to the 116,000 gallon.
Yeah, but as you're taking water out of the 116,000 gallons, I don't know how this works, but I'm assuming the pesticides would be as a separate entity would be added in at that particular point when you're pumping from that house, if you were doing that.
The way they explained it to us is it's applied as needed in areas that need it. So they kind of go around the course and add it where it's needed. They don't just plug it in as it comes out of the cistern and do it across the whole.
That's how they're doing it currently, and that's what we're trying to leave in place, that they do it on an as-needed basis.
Yeah.
I just was concerned with the language because that at some later date, we're not adding a pump, not a pump system, adding water at that pump house, okay? Not the cistern, because we're really pulling water from the cistern. It's a technicality, I just don't know I don't know what because I don't think we're ever talking about putting things into the cistern. I think it really would be added as the water is being pumped. Is it just a technicality or what I'm talking about?
The way I read it is, it goes from the well into the cistern. There'll be nothing added into the cistern. Once it's coming out of the cistern,
Then there will be, there's something where, right.
wetting agents and pesticides could happen on that end.
Yeah.
So really, we, in fact, that's what I'm trying to get at. So in fact, you could have these wetting agents added as it comes out of the cistern.
Yeah, but practically, I mean, these things cost money. And
I got it.
if you need it on T12 and you don't need it anywhere else, you don't put it everywhere. You go to T12 and you apply it. Because they're expensive.
I know, I thought the goal was to basically do it on a hand base, on a need, as need basis, not
Yeah.
even to include anything to deal with the cistern.
I mean, do we need to change the language?
I'm just asking the question, okay, that's all. I mean, we're saying we're not putting it into the cistern, but it doesn't mean we're not adding it into the system from the water that's coming out of the 116,000 gallon tank. It's,
Yeah, but it's, like I said, it's not being applied in general, it's being applied
but
specifically.
it's not, wouldn't it be better to have a language that it's being hand applied? Well, not hand, but manually applied, not coming through the irrigation system itself?
But it does come through, I mean, they go to T12 and they tap into the irrigation system at T12
Right.
and they spray T12. And then they disconnect it and they go about their business.
Okay, that's how it works.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
That's how I understood it.
yeah, I think,
So nothing will be added at the pump house, that's what you're saying,
Yes.
correct?
nothing will be added in the cistern.
No wetting agents or any fertilization stuff would be added at the pump house.
In the cistern.
Well, in the
In the
system.
cistern.
And then, well, the pump house is the cistern, the pump house is on top of the cistern.
It is on top of the cistern.
Yeah.
So we're saying nothing is going to be added at that location, that's what you're really
That's
saying.
what I think we were told, yes. That's how I understood it.
Yeah, best golf course management practices
Yeah.
would not have that happening.
I'm sorry?
Best golf course management practices would not have that happening there. It would be as Ben describes.
I think it's fine the way it is. Thomas, is there any word or two you think might help here?
What you're really saying is at the locations you want to add it, they tap in at that location.
Yes.
And then they add it in. I guess what I'm just making sure is that nothing is ever added in at the pump house location. That's what I'm what I'm driving at.
Can we say cistern and pump house?
But does it matter if it's added in as it's like, does it matter where in the line it's added?
Well,
I mean, if it's.
Because it goes through the whole irrigation system.
But it doesn't have to. They
Right now they're doing it
control-
manually.
They can control where it goes. So they're not gonna put it through the whole system if it doesn't need to go to all the greens.
would it help if number 3 says no wetting agents or pesticides shall be added to the
Pump house.
at the pump house or in the cistern? At the pump house or in the cistern?
Yeah, I could see, because that means it's not going to ever be automatically in throughout the whole system. It's really, right now, we're doing it on an as-need basis.
Now, how do we get this approved by?
I don't think
The
it's
applicant.
necessary. I don't think it's necessary to make that condition.
Can we ask them?
Yeah,
We can ask them.
no, discussion is right here.
I still know.
I'm fine with it as
Yeah,
written.
let's just.
But
Can you just make the motion and vote?
I just finished, you're done with discussion or?
Just trying to think it through.
Okay.
We ask the question up to the sky and someone in the audience nods their head.
No.
No.
It's used now as as-needed basis, and it's applied manually.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's how it was described to us, yes.
And that's, I get it, and that's what I thought, but when, the way this language here, it reads, okay, is that it talks about it's saying, no wetting agents or pesticides shall be added to the cistern. But that doesn't mean you cannot being done manually. It's going to be done through it could be done through the whole entire irrigation system.
Whenever they apply it, it's done through the irrigation system. It's just done in
No,
specific
the water comes
areas.
through the whole irrigation system, but the application is at a different, at the specific locations that they're requiring. At least that's the way I
But
understand.
through the irrigation system. Like I said, if they need a wetting agent on T12, they
Right.
go over to T12 and they tap into the pipe.
To get the
at
water.
T12.
To get the water.
Yeah, and they add it there and it goes on
Right.
T12.
Comes out of a tank and then it goes to that area.
But I don't know.
I'm just, do you understand what I'm asking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's just my comment.
Okay.
All right, end of discussion. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
Not me. Whereas the town board adopted the town of Shelter Island Title VI non-discrimination policy on June 30, 2025, and whereas the New York State Department of Transportation requested revisions to this document, and whereas the said policy has been revised by the town of Shelter Island and approved by New York State DOT on October 23rd, 2025. Now therefore, be it resolved that said revised policy is hereby adopted. So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
be it resolved, the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to credit the sum of $500 to Burt Waif for 2 moorings that were erroneously impounded. So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
be it resolved that the supervisor or her designee is hereby authorized and directed to sign any and all documents in connection with the Tedford settlement agreement. So move.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Whereas a public hearing was duly held on the 29th day of September 2025 on the proposed use of federal community block grants funds the town of Shelter Island expects to receive in 2026, and whereas all interested town residents expressed citizen views on local needs to be met with these funds, now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby determines that the use of said funds shall be designated as follows: $105,000 towards upgrades and repairs to the Tot Lot playground, and $5,000 towards CAST Mobile Food and Pantry Resource Center satellite program on Shelter Island. And be it resolved that the anticipated project cost for the Tot Lot upgrades and repairs is $150,000 to $250,000, which will be scaled based upon other funding sources. And be it further resolved that additional funding sources for the Tot Lot upgrades and repairs will be sought from the New York State Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation grants, community fundraising, and the town. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Which one's that?
Resolved.
This
This one.
Yeah, we're going to call for discussion.
Okay. Be it resolved that the regular meetings of the town board of the town of Shelter Island will be held at 6 p.m. in the Shelter Island Town Hall, Shelter Island, New York, on the following dates: Jan 5, 12, Feb 2, 23, March 16, April 6, 20 and 27, May 18, June 8 and 29, July 20, August 10 and 31, September 21, October 19, November 9, December 7, 21 of 2026. So moved.
Discussion.
Second,
Discussion. I had put down work session dates and times, but we have a request to revisit the work session timing. So I want to wait until Albert is back to go over with him as well, how he feels about changing the work session times. So we're just setting the regular meetings. We've got public hearings that need to be scheduled, and therefore I wanted to get this done early so that we can start to schedule those public hearings.
One of these dates is my birthday.
Which
Then it'll
one?
be a party.
Which one?
February 23rd. If I'm going to show up for that, you better have cake.
We can do that.
Yeah, that's doable.
Okay. End of discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
be it resolved, the following 2025 budget transfers are hereby approved. $9,380 from the A 1440.126 engineering to the engineering to A 1990.400 contingent for PFL savings. $25,725.55 from the A1990.400 contingency to the A1220.112 committee clerk. $10,000 from the A1990.400 contingent to the A1930.400 special items, judgments, and claims for a settlement. $81.35 from the A1330.484 tax receiver office to miscellaneous to A1330.414 tax receiver. Postage to cover postage overage. $132.73 from the A1330.484 tax receiver office and miscellaneous to the A1330.476 tax receiver computer software to cover the higher than budgeted increases. So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Be it resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to expend the sum of $1,100 from the A3120-491 Police Department contracts to Pace Systems, Inc. for Pace Schedule Software version 2.5.60 with a contract term of 09/26/2025 to 10/25/2026. So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Be it resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to expend the sum of $750 from the A1220.491 Supervisor Service Contracts to Records Consultants, Inc. for the renewal of the fixed asset management inventory software with a contract term of 9/24/25 to 9/23/26. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Be it resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to expend the sum of $2,756.25 from the A1410.484 TC office and miscellaneous to Edmunds Gov Tech for the 2026 software maintenance with a contract term of January 1st, 2026 through December 31, 2026. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Be it resolved, the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to expend the sum of $1,298.58 from the A1410.484 Town Clerk Office and miscellaneous to Car Business Systems for a copy of contract base rate charge for the 11/12/2025 to 11/11/2026 billing period for the Xerox XWC 5330 copier. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Be resolved that the 2025 general claims numbered 1866 through 1996 in the amount of $114,140.65. 2025 highway claims numbered 205 through 225 in the amount of $131,874.05. The 2025 community preservation funds claims number 24 through 27, the amount of $11,703. And the 2025 WQI claim number 28 in the amount of $5,875 are hereby approved for payment as audited. And the supervisor and/or any town board member is hereby authorized and directed to sign the approval for payments of the same. So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Motion carried. I'll make a motion to end the special board meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Reopen the work session. And we would like to go into executive session to discuss the employment history of an employee. I'm saying that right? So, thank you, everybody.
Yeah.